Over the past decade, streaming games has seen a huge surge in popularity, leading to many successful careers taking off. Many indie developers have found success for their products through the potency of good streamers, and games like Path of Exile, while popular, have seen more success because of streamers like ZiggyD and Mathil. There's no denying the allure of streaming, as watching great players play can teach you more about your favorite games, and even watching some new bros engage in playing for the first time can be entertaining as well. However, many PvP-centric games such as Fortnite, PUBG, and EVE Online lack the large streaming clicks of many other games like World of Warcraft and Path of Exile, and thus the menagerie of streamers to watch is severely limited. To that end, companies like Bluehole and Epic Games that produce PUBG and Fortnite respectively tend to be protective of their streamers because they get a lot of exposure from them, even being willing to hand out bans for the act of stream sniping, while hiding it in their terms of service as a violation of stalking other players from match to match in the case of PUBG. CCP Games, the makers of EVE Online, follows a different hands-off approach towards it, as EVE is an unforgiving game and should be treated as such. Stream sniping is the act of watching a streamer and using the advantage of provided intelligence to kill them in the game. It's the equivalent of watching your friend's screen while playing Halo, and while it's a crappy thing to do, it's by no means game ending. Sure, it's a competitive PvP game, but there are tools available to streamers to minimize the information they provide. In the case of PUBG and Fortnite, you could blank out the server information, maybe do a cutaway while you search for a server to play on. For EVE, you can block out the overview, local chat, and location. You could also add a delay to your stream in order to minimize the chances of the information being provided. In each case, though, it's a tool available to the streamer, and there's no need for anyone else to get involved. Players in games like Dota, EVE, and other PvP-centered titles are going to use any advantage available to them. That's why it's referred to as competitive play. You will, of course, have people who stream snipe just to ruin the gameplay for the streamer, but they are few and far between. That being said, this latest example of streamers losing their heads because they think someone is out to ruin their entertainment is Ninja, a well-known and arguably the largest Twitch streamer who specializes in Fortnite. Engaged in a game, he is killed by the player Icy5. Here's a clip of the kill in question.
Oh. Laser! Watch for the emote, watch for the emote, watch for the emote.
Guys,
no,
this guy's
no. Oh my god, dude.
Wow, dude, look how good he's at building.
Look at him, he's showing you. He's showing you the way, dude.
Wow, look how good
showing
he's
you the
at
way.
building. Oh,
There's the emote, there it is!
There it is, dude. 4-player. Stream sniping. You gotta love proof, you know what I mean? You gotta always love when there's proof. You literally, what an idiot. How stupid can you be?
That guy's pretty stupid, I think.
Skin swap it. I mean,
I'm going out of my way to make sure this guy's banned. Icy5, alright. Icy5, if you leave this game right now, I will not report you.
Now, normally a streamer losing his cool over a tough battle is nothing new. We all do it, streaming or not. But what caused the backlash against him isn't the loss of his composure, but rather three things. First, he reported the guy on stream live. Second, he said he would do everything in his power to get the guy banned. And third, he attempted to extort Icy5 by saying if he left the game right then and there, he wouldn't report him to Epic Games. The second and third are what get him, because attempting to extort someone is roundly seen as unacceptable behavior by players, and many companies will issue bans for such things, but we'll get to that in a second. On the third point, it's the equivalent of saying in a Dota game that people should report a player early on simply because you don't like their pick, their laning, or something similar. You've already made it clear that you want them reported, so why would they not throw the game, or better yet, start legitimately stream sniping you? Plus, he did it live, then said he wouldn't report him if he left, so that was a pointless thing to say. More to the point, if he had actually left, it would have confirmed that the guy was stream sniping, and Epic Games would have had proof right there that the guy was stream sniping Ninja, and then could have issued the ban under their terms of service. Now, Ninja did address the incident on stream, saying that he was allowed to lose his cool with other players, and he is. But he's not allowed to make threats like this, and that is the optics issue he's facing. Ninja is pretty well known for acting like a child when he loses, and this was no exception.
People are white knighting. You know what I mean? Like, just know who you're defending. Number one. Number two, I was completely out of line, 100%. That's obvious, right? Get a little saucy on a Friday night or Saturday night, having some drinks with the boys, dude, got a little heated, right? If you watch the video, Ben goes, watch the emote, here comes the emote, and then he emotes. Dude, the whole thing just fed into a stream sniper. The whole thing just fed right into it, right? And it was a perfect recipe for exactly what happened, right? And now the guy makes a video, shows no proof of him not like stream sniping, just says that he didn't do it the entire time, and everyone's just ripping on me. I get it, dude. Hate me.
Now, Epic Games did respond, and they said that a streamer's reports are treated no differently than a non-streamer's. Everything is investigated before action is taken, but there's no denying that there are safeguards in place to protect streamers even more so than non-streamers, such as the terms of service making stream sniping a bannable offense. As the face of Fortnite, a comment by Ninja like this could be seen as him gloating about the possibility of him having some clout. And because of that, the optics look bad. He looks like a raging child, and more to the point, it's understandable why people might take Epic's response with a grain of salt, because there has to be something that has happened behind the scenes to give Ninja the belief that he could easily get someone banned. Responding to Epic's comment on the situation, Icy and Ninja got into a debate on the validity of the threat. Ninja responded with, "Epic will never ban people for no reason even if I say anything. You assuming they do is naive. Stop playing the victim, you aren't getting banned. I'm sorry, stop milking it." Again, Ninja comes off as a child, not really apologizing for his behavior and giving the guy a backhanded apology. "I'm sorry, but hey, at least you were banned, am I right?" Well, that's not the point. The point is many consider you the face of Fortnite, and as such, there is an expectation of professionalism from you. When you fail to meet that expectation, especially in an incredibly massive way like you did here, you can't blame anyone else for your actions. That rests squarely on your shoulders. You should have apologized and left it at that. Instead, you decided to taunt the guy a bit, adding insult to injury essentially and making you seem like an even bigger tool. And while you claim that Icy never provided in his own video on the subject evidence he wasn't stream sniping you, you in turn didn't prove he was. And just like in law, the onus is on the accuser to prove their case, not on the accused. You can't prove something didn't happen if it didn't happen. You couldn't prove it, and so he rightfully should not have been banned. Ninja then went on Drama Alert, telling Keemstar that he had been drinking that night. It acted as if that is an excuse for his actions. In vino veritas, you will always let the real you out when drunk. Drinking is not an excuse for crappy behavior, and people still don't seem to understand this. If anything, it just shows people how much of a garbage person you are behind their back. Stream sniping is a tactic. When you play games like EVE and PUBG, you're going to have people who will take advantage of every tidbit of information you provide in order to kill you and win. And not everyone who kills you is stream sniping, so to blame people for it without proof is ludicrous. Epic Games should slap Ninja with some type of punishment, because he gives their game a bad name with his actions. What's more, they should be hands off in punishing people who do stream snipe. If you want competitive tournaments, you can do what Valve does and hire a venue and people to handle it. And close in everything, you put all contestants under the same roof and put them in a position where they are all equal, and stream sniping isn't a thing. At the end of the day, streamers need to understand the risks they take by streaming their games, and they need to stop running to companies to save them when they think someone's taking advantage of what they do. Make decisions and live with the consequences of those choices. You have options to handle minimizing information you give out, so use them.